Okay, so hi everybody. Hopefully y'all are doing a-okay today. It's your boy JJ. We are taking a look at BT06. We're not going to be getting it until 2 months from now. 2 months from now. So somewhere in October, mid-October or late October, due to shipping delays and all that good stuff. So yay! But first, I wanted to kind of knock this out while we're doing a lot of things that we already do with Cardfight Vanguard. We do a lot of video reviews. We talk about a lot of the cards and how they operate. We're going to be taking a look at DBT06, and we're going to go by nation and cards. We're not going to spend too much time on each individual one. We're going to kind of just grade them, you know, and see how we feel about them overall and how they will probably shape the BCS format. BCS stands for Bushiroad Championship Series format. That's basically the tournaments that he used to dictate for people who make it into the finals or who end up winning the whole shebang, that they end up going into Worlds. I don't know how they're going to square away Worlds this year, but the shop challenges and stuff already started here in Europe. From what I heard and understood, in other regions, they don't have their shop challenges yet until I think later this week or next week. And we're already having shop challenges already, which is kind of whoa, kind of crazy. So a lot of people don't really have the promos and stuff yet. So we'll see. It's kind of a weird space right now, but we'll take a look at this real quick and let's talk about it. Okay, let's get into it. So first things first, we have the Galactic Hero support. All of the Galactic Heroes is one of the new archetypes, one of the new ride lines within the Blazing Dragon Reborn set 6. They incorporate a whole lot of their base cards or base card archetypes, and this is the main boss unit for it. It has a continuous skill, the front row heroes of cards, and it gets 5k power active on your opponent's turn 2. So if you have more copies of this card as well, you get 18k. You get 18k front just for free, and since you're a hero card, I wonder how this interacts with other heroes. I don't think it works with the premium hero archetype. But it might, and if it does, that's kind of cute. That's pretty cute. Being able to work with other previous hero support in premium seems kind of nice. I like it a lot. I will grade this relatively low in comparison to the other stuff. Obviously, it just got released. Like most of the Brandtgate support archetypes, like Graffitia, like Orfist, or like the prison support, like the Sarah Snow stuff, they have like a lot more sets. Set 6. 6 sets worth of support, and sure, you could probably incorporate cards like Boba Mine and all that good stuff, since you do use set orders, and since Brandtgate is predominantly a set order archetype, that you do have like set orders, world orders, and all that awesome stuff. Are we excited for today's episode? Aquazim? Yes, we are, actually. But first, we're currently doing like a set review, and we'll be able to talk about that a little bit later. So hopefully you guys are also watching some Will+dress as well. We've been watching it. We're currently on episode 5. Today we'll be watching it a little bit later today. I tend to leave the episode fully get released because I don't want it that when we're watching alongside it, it tends to like stutter and stop. I hate that. So overall, out of 5 stars, I'm rating this a 3 with potential. It's pretty okay. I don't hate it. I don't hate the card. I think it's kind of nifty. It could possibly have some premium applications, because if it does exactly how I think it does, Nova Grappler does have a hero archetype, or has a hero race archetype. But I think Novas also have cards with hero in their name. So hey, who knows? And I think some of the other Brandtgate archetypes do have hero names too, so you can probably try to find a way to mix and match something that could work for premium for you, so have fun. We have the Combined Rusher. This is the grade 2 that a lot of people are hyping up about. When this unit attacks a grade 3 or greater unit, if your order zone has 2 more set orders, this unit gets plus 10k until end of that battle. So if you could find a way to restand this card, you know, it's a 20k attacker plus, you know, all the restanding shenanigans you can do with it. It doesn't stack, sadly enough, but it also has a pretty cool skill in the drop zone. Auto drop zone. When a set order you play from your hand is put into the order zone, kind of last one, and call this card to Vanguard Circle. This is a bit of a non-bow with some aspects of Orfist, because you need to constantly keep on activating the order from your hand. But you could possibly put this card into the right deck, according to a co-friend of mine called Kumatank. This could see some play in the right deck because of a card like, let me see if I can find it here, my pile of Orfist stuff that I've been kind of like saving up for set 6 to drop for us here in English. Whereas he's a Cardinal Lloyd. He's a Cardinal Lloyd grade 2 that only gives 5k when you activate the order. You know, this gives you something to do, at least with it, if you end up soul blasting it, because obviously you want to soul blast it later on. It gives you a 5k interceptor. It's pretty okay. Is it bad I find the grade 3 hero art a bit underwhelming? No, not really. That's okay. Like, most of my criteria that I'm judging these on is based on its competitive viability, or like what it can do currently right now out of the box. And usually art is maybe one of the factors that also gains it a star, but oftentimes it's not. It's not. So today we'll be looking at Brandtgate, and hopefully like during this week we'll be uploading each and every one of the nation support, or all the nation cards that have been released so far for set 6. So stay tuned for that. So Combined Rusher for me gets a, I would say 4-star, because it does have a bit of a niche that you could fit into certain archetypes within Brandtgate that does have the space to soul blast a whole lot, and you get a free rear guard for it. Seraph Snow, I don't see it being used that much, but I think for Orfist, especially, there are moments with the current iteration of Regis, Orfist Regis, that they activate a whole lot of orders now, especially out of hand. You activate at least 1 out of hand and 1 out of drop, and then this triggers on a 1 out of hand, which saves you a lot of saves a lot of issue, because then you can call this on a Vanguard Circle that's empty, and then you can call over this later on in the turn, which is really nice. You could possibly run more copies of this in your deck as well, if you just have the space to run it. But I feel that's very it's very iffy, since it does eat through a lot of your CB, so you'll have to have Bubble Might to make it run. So I still feel this is a 4-star card. I think it has some potential. I like it a whole lot. And since the order zone needs to have 2 or more orders, you know, could work. Could also work in Gravidia too. You know, why not? Okay, so then we have Galactic Hero Direct Foley. Like Commander Foley. I like her artwork a whole lot. So for me, the artwork already gives it a star on it. So let's see what it does. Center back row Rearguard Circle. Okay, so what we saw with what the grade 3 hero does is that he manipulates your Rearguard Circles, of being able to like move them from back into the front, which is pretty okay. And so Foley being in the back row center allows her to kind of be the monitor, the eyes and the ears of the squad of the heroes, and she seems to be like a very reclusive person. So I kind of like how that skill is translated really well into her artwork is really translated really well into this skill, or her personality type. So back row Regard Circle at end of battle, your grade 3 Vanguard Hero attacked. Soul Blast 1 rests unit. Choose 2 of your rear guards in the same column as each other in exchange those positions. Pretty good. Pretty good. Bit extra multi-attack to go with it. I like it a lot. Alright, I like it. I would say it's a solid 4, because it's 4 copies of the card you probably want to have. It gives you a lot of extending attacks. It facilitates a whole lot of extra pluses for you in being able to like minus a lot more card that you put in hand. That's kind of how I equate that mentally in my head. It doesn't make much sense, but trust me, it does to me. And we have a reprint of the Overtrigger Elder Breath. That's pretty good. That's good. Pick it up. You should be picking it up. You have not more copies of it. People have been kind of very, very sad not being able to have access to any of the OTs that he wanted, because these used to be relatively expensive. I think right now in the market it kind of still are, because it will be getting them in the middle of the BCS season, or like the late start of the BCS season, like 2 or 3 weeks within it already. Like we are in the BCS season already, but you know, midway through, like a month or so through. Do you think OTs will be able to go back down to like about $10? I would say so. I would say so, yes. Because right now there's a lot of people currently buzzing about getting rid of them in premium. So there's going to be some people who are either going to hoard some of them or offload a lot of them. I feel that you're going to have a lot more people who will be quicker to get rid of them than to keep them, than anything. So yes, I believe so. Don't need to rate this card. It's a good card. Pick it up if you can. If you play Brandtgate, most Brandtgate archetypes play this card. I don't know if the Hero archetype is going to play this card, because I could see them play the Kree Elemental, since Elder Breath is a non-bow with the archetype, since it only powers up the front row, and it only powers up the current front row, whereas the Overtrigger can power up your back row, especially if your front row has already been blocked, already attacked. So yeah, I could see it. That's great, to be honest. Yeah, I could see people like offload them. I feel that people are probably just going to offload them more than keep them. Cardinal Draco Nuvorea? Nuvoria? I'm saying it in my brain in Spanish. I don't know why. Because in my brain is like, nouveau is like something new, right? It's like to remake something. And I don't remember if my Spanish is that good. You guys are going to correct me in the chat, I hope. When it attacks, this unit gets plus 2k at the end of battle for each roll card. Nuvoria? I think it's Nuvoria. I think so, yeah. Plus 2 for each world order, which you'll have a whole lot of. So it'll have a basis of either plus 4 or plus 6. Relatively easy, even if it's just 3 orders and your orders on plus 6 already, which allows you to pressure your opponent's hand a little bit for like 19, or for another plus 2, you know, plus 8 puts us on 21 already, which is good. It's a 21k attacker potentially, or 31 on its own, without much like support needed, is really nice. When this unit is retired from Vanguard Circle, your world Abyssal Knight, if your world is Abyssal Knight, which is a second form of having 2 or more to orders in your order zone up, you can call a token to Vanguard Circle, which is good. I'm going to be saying that a whole lot. I think this is a 5-star card. 5 stars. All of the stars. All of them. This is a card that Orfist needed, because it did not have a way of getting more tokens than the previous version of itself. And with this now being printed, solidifies Orfist as possibly the best variant of Orfist that we have. I'm always a person who was like, meh, this is, you know, Rodriguez is sort of like a side grade. He is kind of a side grade and he needs a whole lot of pieces, but a card like this being included in Rodriguez is just too good to pass up. It gives you an attack, and it gives you a token. You get 2 rear guards off of 1 attack, potentially, right? You get like, so you get 5 attacks consistently, all the time, which is not insane, right? 5 attacks into people who have a hard time dealing with them, it's insane. I like it. We have Aurora Battle Princess, Crumple Orchid. So the Aurora Battle Princess is an archetype that is usually primarily played around the Seraph archetype. It's a grade 3, which makes it a little awkward, but this could be possibly played in the grade 4 Seraph still. Let's see what it does. At the end of battle, your Vanguard with Seraph in its card name. It is card name attack. This is also very, very important that it doesn't say grade 4 Seraph. It says Seraph. So they probably want to try to make people, they want to try to inspire people to possibly play the grade 3s again. And that's a whole lot of a recurring theme that you'll see a lot during this set, is that it's a reintroduction of playing, hey, I know we've been playing a whole lot of grade 4 support. We want to reintroduce you guys to play grade 3s again. And I like that, because I think you realize that with the addition of having grade 4s is that you have access to triple drive, which has a quicker chance of seeing over triggers, which create very negative play experiences for the players. And yeah, you know what I mean? Counterblast 2 and Standards unit. Your opponent chooses one of their grade 1 or greater imprisons in their prisons and put it in their hand. 1 star. It's a double rare, but it gives your opponent a grade 1 or greater card. So it potentially gives them PG back to their hand. If you want to do a restand, it uses 2 CB, and rewriting your grade 4 already costs a CB plus a soul, plus just a whole bunch of other stuff. Like, if your opponent has garbage, it I guess doesn't matter. It'd been a whole lot better if you could choose to give your opponent one. Like, hey, this person is like, we let him out of jail, you can get this back. And it'd been also pretty okay if it says rear guard, so then it'd make this card a whole lot more dangerous. It's tough. It's tough. It's tough. It's a really tough choice here. I don't think you want this. But I would not be surprised if there's like a build around something like this. Yeah, sure, why not? Like, usually sometimes your opponent has like useless cards anyway, and them getting back like 1 card back sometimes doesn't matter. Having a Reef Stander in Seraph is kind of cool. Premium applications, I could see it. And it also says choose one of your opponent's grade 1 or greater. And it stands, period. Your opponent getting the bonus after it is secondary. So you could possibly play this in premium. Seraph premium, let's go. Let's see. Galactic Hero Rampart Aspirin. So this is more Galactic Hero support. He does look like he is protecting somebody from an attack from an invader. That seems pretty cool. Don't worry, your lives are assured with me. Big talks, man. I like you. Auto, when this is scouted, so scouting is referring to you taking a look at either the top of your deck and putting into your base. It's basically putting cards from your wherever and put them into your base, and that's scouting somebody. When you put a card into order zone as scouted. Yes, that's here. Reminder text for it. That's pretty cool. Guardian Circle, if your auto has a base card and you have a Vanguard with hero in his card name, this gets plus 10. So this works anytime. So since you have multiple heroes potentially, and it soul charges 1 when scouted. Okay. And we have Galactic Hero Flaton Spire. Sure, Shire. I can't pronounce it. But the previous card, I will rate it. Like, you have to play almost all of the hero stuff because it just got released. So I'll give it a 3. I think I'll probably just give all the hero stuff, the hero support, no matter what they are. You have to run them. There's like no more option, like other better options anyway, really. The ratios of how much you run them is entirely up to you. But I feel like all of them are pretty good as like new archetype support. So have fun. When this unit is placed on Vanguard Circle, cost Counterblast 1, choose one of your opponent's front row rear guards in the same column as this unit and retire it. Bit of removal, pretty good. During your turn, your order zone has a base card, this gets plus 5. So it can be a 15k attacker, or 25. Which is pretty good. Or 20, or 30, depending if you're a Persona writer. Because your Vanguard also gives you plus 5. So this becomes a 20k attacker if you want it. Not bad. So we have Aurora Battle Princess, more Sarah support, Detain Cycla. Hell yeah. I like the artwork for some of these cards, man. The part that she's kind of like reporting it in, like doing like an investigation or something at a scene of a crime. She's like, yo, I gotta call this in. Let's see. When it's in attacks of Vanguard, Soul Blast 3, pretty easy requirement to pay, and your opponent cannot call cards by the ability of your prison until end of turn. That's okay. When its units retire from Vanguard Circle or Guardian Circle, your opponent chooses 2 of their imprisoned cards from your prison, calls each card to Vanguard Circle, or puts them into their hand. They can call both cards. This effect is mandatory. Oh, so you have to constantly keep on paying soul for this skill. That's tough. Hey Gintaxis, how you doing, homie? We're currently doing a card set review, and right now we're on Brandtgate. I would say this card's a 3, or possibly a 2, only for the fact that you need to constantly keep on feeding this cost, and it's a heavy cost. It's a heavy one. It's very dangerous, because you could seal off your opponent's turn by prisoning all their cards, but it's very few moments that your opponent will ever be like, man, I really need to get those cards out of my prison, I need to keep them there. This is basically like Omega Lock, if you were to take a look at like Blink Joker's mechanics. Blink Joker is an older archetype that appeared, you know, in 2014, 2015. With locking mechanics, and they had something like Omega Locking, which appeared with Glandios as well during that era as well, and it basically kept the cards away from your opponent's hands for like an extra turn or so, and it kind of feels that sort of vibe, but on a weaker scale. It's not that bad, but it's just sort of, it's a 2-star for me. I can see the application of this card, but it feels very like your opponent needs to have like a bunch of cards in there that you really need to have access to, and you need to pick the perfect moment where this matters, or else you like. I guess what you could do is Soul Blast 3, call this, and then call over this. But it needs to attack. I guess you could intercept with this. But they can still call from the ability of this skill, because this doesn't count. Oh my god. Because the prison and disability is a separate thing. So this needs to be somewhere in the back row. Gosh darn it. No, it's a lot less for me now. It's like a 1-star now for me. Cardinal Lloyd Capelfe. If your world is Dark Knight or Abyssal Dark Knight, so that's either 1 order or 2 order activated, Soul Blast 1 to increase or decrease this unit's power to 15k. So you gain +7. It's pretty okay. Seraph doesn't have superior call of any kind, right? They themselves, yes. They have like a grade 1 that says if you have a Seraph Vanguard and your opponent has cards in prison, you can call a copy of itself or something. So yes, it kind of does have its own superior call, but they're locking away your opponent's calling anything. Planet Wall Dragon. This is just a functional reprint of the perfect guards that we have already. It's pretty good. It's a rare. Pick it up if you can. This is awesome. This means that the that we currently have are going to be relatively cheaper unless they have like named skills or race skills. Most of them are like raced under space dragons or dragon types anyway, which is still pretty okay. Galactic Hero Wired Crossten. This is pretty cool. He does look like Blue Dust. If anybody remembers that card from it's from old Vanguard days, BTO3. Looks like Blue Dust. It's nice. Let's go to card with hero in this card named Cost. From your hand into base and draw a card. Oh god. What? You run oh, it's Vanguard Circle. Well, you still run this though. You still run this. I guess this is part of your ride deck. Ah, it's a good card though. I was like, huh? I only saw once per turn. I didn't see where it needs to be activated. So once per turn on Vanguard Circle, you can scout a card from your hand. So you can either choose to put like a PG in there, you can choose to put one of your guard units in there. You have access to a whole lot of things now. So you can like selectively put cards that you really need into there, and then you can make use of it. It's really good. I like it. Let me see. Galactic Hero Architect Percy. So this is one of the new ones. Auto when it's placed on Vanguard Circle. So this is more likely a ride deck card. Auto when this is placed on Vanguard Circle, search your deck up for a base card, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle your deck. It's a ride deck card. Continuous Rampart Circle. During the battle, this unit boosted with a hero in its card name. This unit gets +5. That's alright. You run this. I can't really give it a grade since it's obviously part of your ride deck. So 5, I guess. 5-star, sure. 5. Let's go with 5. Competitively and functionally, like outside of the ride deck, I don't think it's that good. But obviously, the first skill is. If it didn't even have the second skill, it was still fine. You still ran it anyway. Capable Helper. It seems. Oh, it is hero support. Look at him go. Little police droid. I like it. When this unit is placed on Vanguard Circle, Soul Blast 1. Choose a card with hero in its card name from your drop zone. Scout it into your base. So you can choose one of the heroes you already own in your soul, since all of them are heroes. I think all of them. Almost all of them are heroes. And you can scout it into your base. Or if you ended up guarding with one of the heroes, you can scout it as well. Okay, it's pretty okay. And then we have the starter. Nothing really much to say. The artwork is pretty based. Let's take a look at it. There's Jumin. Oh, look at that. The pride and joy of the Hero Federation. Looks like he's telekinetic. Oh, that's pretty dope. That's a pretty good hero. Now we have triggers. Boom. Star Aggression Dragon. Aberrant Gleam Dragon. And we have front triggers. The Heavy Machinery Conversion. Heavy Constellation. It's okay. And then we have the heal trigger. Alterate Sphere Dragon. Nothing too special about it. I think overall, I think the Seraph grade 3 seems kind of, it's kind of making me a bit nervous. About anything else, I'm really happy about the OT reprint. And I guess that's kind of it. The hero stuff, it's kind of up in the air how good they're gonna be. I'm positive about it. I'm positive that they might give it some good limelight. You know, put it in the spotlight for everybody. Yeah, that's all I can say about it. So be awesome, stay awesome, guys. Have a wonderful day. Thank y'all for tuning in and stopping on by.